Okay. So thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. This is Interactive Classrooms or Bitmoji Classrooms, whatever you would like to call it. This is going to be a really fun session. Those of you who have a creative bone, you're going to love this because really you're going to get a blank canvas and can just create whatever type of environment you want your students to be immersed into. Those of you who don't have a creative bone, which honestly is more like myself, there's a lot of templates that you can pick and then just pick and choose your own little touches to make it your own. So without further ado, I am going to share my screen so that we can get started. And if you could just give me a little thumbs up if you can see my slide deck started. Okay, thank you. All right, well, I picked the happy winter theme for Google Slides because I think that's pretty appropriate given today's weather. And this is our interactive classroom, January 28th. So my name is Wendy Hanaski, and I am an instructional technology coach at the East Central Ohio ESC. And these workshops that you're joining us for are a part of an overarching grant through Remote edX. We have a team of coaches that are available to the teachers in the surrounding counties. So if you find these workshops helpful, if you want follow-up, one-on-one interactive sessions or a group session, we will be sharing the link to our page, which leads to our calendar. And we really encourage you to sign up to work with us. We're here to help you. We're 6 coaches that are non-evaluative. We just want to be there to hold your hand, show you some new technologies, and make your job easier. So I just want to give you a little bit of background about myself. I did start out as a classroom teacher in a city called Heath, Ohio, which is in between Zanesville and Columbus. I taught business courses and by default became the computer teacher because our district passed a technology grant in the mid-90s, which was really odd at that time. We really were about maybe one of 2 to 3 schools in the entire state that passed a specific levy just for technology. And my room became the beneficiary of those computers. So it's been a long road since then, full of changes and exciting new technologies that really enhance the students' experience when they're in the classroom. This interactive classroom, Bitmoji Classroom that we're talking about today, I think is one step in that very fun environment for students. Before we get into the overview of an interactive classroom, we just have a couple housekeeping items. If you would not mind, please put your name and your school. If you want to put your position, that would be great too. Go ahead and put that in the chat. We also have a survey that you could use the QR code here, or there is the link in the chat, but if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and fill that out as well. So in this session today, we're going to talk about interactive classrooms. I'm going to give you an opportunity to create one yourself, and this is going to be voluntary, but I am going to ask, if you don't mind, to share yours at the end of the session. If you'd rather not, that's fine, no pressure. But if you would like to share with the group, that would be great. And it doesn't matter how elaborate it is because we have not time on our hands right now. We just have a limited time. So whatever you put together is fine. Also on this slide, and you'll see it again, is our Google Classroom for the workshop series. The code is listed here. So if you want to jot that down, that would be great as well. So on each one of these slides, you'll see I inserted, I'm sorry, was there a question? No? Okay. On each one of these slides, as we go through the slide deck, I tried to incorporate a different Bitmoji of myself in different winter themes. So you can just keep an eye out for that as we go through. So what is an interactive classroom? And basically, it's a classroom that you create that's a creative delivery method where students can interact with various resources. So what do I mean by that? So if you think of a classroom, think of like a cartoon looking type of classroom. You might see posters on the wall, or you might see the American flag. Each one of those items can become a hyperlink or a resource that could take the student to another website or some sort of tech tool that will allow them to use that tool, but all being funneled through that classroom. Teachers can add themselves as a Bitmoji right into the classroom, and it just makes it fun because students are seeing you as you created yourself through the Bitmoji, and it just shows a way that you're expressing how you feel you look in the different scenarios that you put yourself in. And it's fun. It's just students really enjoy that. So here I am freezing, which is true, given today that it's still snowing outside and has been since last night. So interactive classrooms can be created using Google Slides. So basically you open up Google Slides, you can pick your own background, you can pick a template if you don't want to create it from scratch, and you begin to build. You add element after element, you make those elements hyperlinks that will go to those outside web sources or interactive technology tools, and it goes from there. Once you're finished, you can then embed that link in your Google Classroom so that students can access it. So really, this type of classroom is appropriate for all grade levels because you can make it as elementary or as high schoolish as you want, and all subject areas. So I think whenever you're at a workshop, when you're learning something new, it's best to see the product in its entirety before you begin. So then you kind of have a visual of, well, what does one look like? And there's so many because teachers will post theirs. It's just really a lot to look at. But I wanted to show you this one. This is actually my sister's. She is an elementary teacher in St. Clairsville, Ohio. And why I picked this one is because, as you can see, there's the American flag. It just so happened about 3 months ago now, I think the beginning of November, the local news station was going to different school districts, recording the class saying the pledge in the morning. Her classroom happened to be chosen, and so the local news came in, they filmed her class saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and then they showed that on the noon news that day. So it was really cute. Well, my sister then took that video link and made it into her interactive classroom by a link through the flag. So now when her students come in and they click on the flag, they're actually viewing themselves saying the Pledge of Allegiance. And so for those students who were still at home because of COVID issues and they weren't coming into school, this was just one little piece of home because it was a view of their own classroom that they're used to seeing. It was their classmates, and it just kind of felt like an extra piece of connection that they probably were missing during all that time. So this is just one example. I'm going to kind of scroll through a couple more examples just so you can see the options that are available. This is another one. You can see the alphabet up at the top banner. You can see different components on a bookshelf, a rug, a beanbag. There's a book. Most likely this book is a hyperlink to the actual book. So these are just little pieces that you can think about as you're formulating what your classroom is going to look like. This is an example of a science lab. So we got the beakers and the test tubes and the whiteboard in the back. So all of these items here, again, you can make clickable that will take your students to other places. This is kind of a very basic one. This is more of like what I have planned for today, given our time. So you just basically have a wall, a floor, a whiteboard, and then a couple extra pieces to make interactive. One option you do have is to actually take a picture of your classroom, the real classroom. I saw a phys ed teacher do this where she took a picture of the gymnasium, uploaded that picture into Google Slides, and then she used that as her background to begin to build pieces. So again, it's just a way to connect the students, which is ultimately the goal of these interactive classrooms, is to make the students feel connected to their actual classroom in a fun and exciting, engaging way. So interactive classrooms, to me, begin with the Bitmoji, because the Bitmojis are what's fun. Students can create their own, teachers can create their own. You can use it to represent yourself. So if you change your hairstyle, or if you want a different wardrobe or different facial expressions, it's as easy as a few clicks. It's so nice with the Chrome extension bar, and we'll talk about this if that's not a term you're familiar with, but you can add the Bitmoji to your extension so that with one click, your Bitmoji options will come up so that you can insert them into your slide. So think about when you're on your phone and you're texting somebody and you click a couple buttons and up pops your Bitmojis, and then you can cut and paste those into your text. This is the same. So at your Chrome extension bar, at the end of your Chrome search bar, one button, going to open up your Bitmojis. You can search for different styles, different themes, and then simply click and drag and put them into your slides. So the Chrome Web Store is where you would go to get these extensions, and Bitmoji is just simply one. There's so many, like Edpuzzle, I did that a little bit ago. Edpuzzle has an extension of Chrome. So the tools that you use a lot, you would want to add them to your Chrome bar so that they're there for you when you need them. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is open up Google Slides, because that's kind of like your blank slate, like I mentioned, where you can choose a background, you can add the components, and then you can link those components to their appropriate websites. Once you're finished, we're going to add it to the Google Classroom. So this is the, I'm moving our pictures out of the way here a little bit. This is the classroom that I created for today. As you can see, it has some Edpuzzle video links. It has a spelling word link. And then, and those are pretty self-evident, but some of these other components that I've added into my classroom, the students may not know to click on. So I've created just a little checklist. These are the items that I want you to click on once you open up the interactive classroom. So the spelling, the Edpuzzle, the clock, the beanbag, the flag, the globe, and the plant. So let me just give you a quick example of what's going to happen if this was an actual classroom that you added to your students' accounts. And let's say we're going to start the day and we're going to do it with the American flag. Students, as they put their mouse over top of the flag, it turns to that pointer, telling them they can click. Okay, so you can see that one click to the flag took them to a YouTube video of some other classroom saying the Pledge of Allegiance. So you get the gist of how a link would work, but you also probably can see the benefit of my sister's classroom having her actual class saying the pledge. Now, she was lucky because the news came and conducted that. However, you know, you could always video your own students doing it and then link that video to your American flag in your classroom. So I'm just going to take a quick break right now and just ask if there's any questions. Does anybody have any thoughts before we continue on? You can unmute, you can type it in the chat. Okay, so everybody's still with us? All right, so let me just click on a couple other items and you can see how this works before we dive in and begin to create our own. So as I was building this, I was thinking, well, I want to put a globe and, I didn't want to pick just one theme, let's say math, and then everything be math, because I wanted to show a variety of things. So if you see spelling and you see geography and you see music, that's just because I wanted to show you what was available. So with the globe, you can make a globe go to any website that you want that's geographic in nature. Once for a world geography lesson, in my mind, I thought, what is the one place I want to go? If I clicked on my globe, what is my ultimate bucket list destination? So you can think about what yours is, because this is just for us and for fun. But this, with one click, you'll see my ultimate destination that I would love to go to, which is Bora Bora, because I want to sleep in these huts on the ocean and see the fish and the beautiful water, and that's my ultimate. What you can see, going back to what we're trying to do here, is what I simply did was used this image, which was a globe. I made it a link, and I simply put the borabora.com in as the link, so that when you click there, that's where you go. And we're going to walk through how to do that step by step in just a minute. So one more item I'll show you, because the clicking is easy, it's nice to do, but if you want different methods of navigation, a QR code could be another source. So if students, if you allow them and they have their smartphones, they could simply put their phone over top of this QR code at this point. I have the spelling link to Spelling City, which is a website where teachers have accounts. They can put the weekly spelling words in. When the students log in, the words are presented to them in a fun way so they can practice for the week before the test. But again, QR codes is just another method of transportation that's going to take students out to their resources. And then finally, one more, I have the beanbag, and I thought, okay, when I look at the beanbag, I think relaxing, you probably want to read. So you could put a book here and make the book a link, but I made it go to a website that has relaxing spa music, because I thought, oh, it'd be fun to relax. So when I click there, oh, mercy. Well, live video, not expecting that type of commercial to come, but this is the spa relaxing music that I was hoping for. Okay, so what we're going to do now is actually begin to build on our own. And the easiest way to do that is to simply get yourself a slide, a brand new slide. Now I have one here that's just the blank, but what you could do, and if you want to open Google Slides, now would be a good time to do it. And it can just be blank. It doesn't have to have anything on it. And this plus symbol that is on your toolbar, the very first one says new slide. When you click on new slide, it's going to bring in whatever format of slide that you are working on. It's going to give you this format. However, the down arrow that's next to the plus would allow you to pick a different type of format if you don't like this trees. And when you're building a new classroom, probably the most blank slide would probably be the best idea. So I'm going to pick this gray one, and I'm going to delete the text box holder. So to do that, I put my mouse over top. When I get the four-headed arrow, I simply click to select it. And then I can hit delete on my keyboard, and that will go away. Okay, so we're on step one, and step one is to get like a floor and a wall so that it could be your background. What you want to do is on the fourth option over on the toolbar, so you have File, Edit, View, Insert, we're going to come to Image. Now, if you had taken an actual picture of your classroom, and you saved it, let's just say to your desktop. You just save that picture to your desktop. You could do this upload from computer and choose your desktop so that you could click and insert that picture from there. If you want to get one from the web, however, which is what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert image and upload, or I'm sorry, and search the web. Over on the side here, it's going to give you a search bar. So I'm going to type in floor, wall, or wall, floor, whatever one you want. And you can kind of search through here. You can also click classroom, wall, floor. You might get more narrowed type of searches. But once you find one that you like, just simply click right on the image, and then down below the images, there should be a button that says insert. So you're going to insert it directly onto the slide. Now, if it doesn't fit on the slide, which most likely it's not going to, you're going to have to resize it so that it goes over top. So just a couple tidbits when you're resizing. You will see squares on each one of the corners and then ones in the middle. So resizing handles, if you use the corner ones, are going to resize the image proportionately. So both vertically, horizontally, it's going to size them proportionately. The middle sizing bars, however, will stretch. And at this point, you are going to have to stretch a bit to get it to fill that slide perfectly. So hopefully you're moving right along with me. If you have two windows open, that would be great, because you can kind of watch me do it and then also have your window open. But once you get your wall floor in here, now the fun begins, because you can start to build. So I am going to go back to my wall floor that I used when I built mine, because that's going to be easier for me to recreate. But you can use whatever the one is that you just chose. So at this point, what I see in basically every interactive class room example is a whiteboard. Most people will have a whiteboard just so they could put like, welcome to class, welcome to Mrs. Mamone's class. This has a whiteboard already. So you can use that and put text boxes on top of these items. But if you don't have a whiteboard on the background that you chose, we're just going to keep following those steps of inserting these components that we want. So we're going to go to insert, we're going to go to image, and we're going to search the web. If the wall floor or the floor wall is still in there, you can hit your backspace to delete it. And you can type in whiteboard. And again, just kind of scroll through the options. You can click and drag it over onto your slide, or again, click on it and down at the bottom, click insert. Don't ever be afraid if it comes in too big. Most likely it's going to. So you know how to use the resizing handles. Just resize and then click and drag, and do it as many times as you need to until you get what you're trying to accomplish. Now, when you have a whiteboard on your wall, you might try to double click and you might say, well, I can't type in there, which is most likely true. So what you'd want to do is insert a text box over top of the whiteboard. So then you have a place to type actual letters. On your toolbar, you're going to see a little square with a T in it, and it's called text box. If you click there and you come over to your whiteboard, you're going to have a plus symbol. So just go to the upper left-hand corner, click, drag down, and now you have that square or rectangle where you can begin to type. And you can then make it bold, italics, you could change its colors. The only thing you need to do is make sure that the text box is selected, and then you can come up to your font and continue to make it as big as possible. So trivia question, and you guys will get extra points if anybody knows this. So it's a two-part question. Number one, who knows how fonts which in this case, the font is, you know, what the text looks like when you're typing. Who knows how fonts are measured? They're measured in something that starts with a P. And you could type it in the chat if you know. And also point. Oh, Maria, very good. Okay, this is challenge question. How many points equals 1 inch of printed text? So if I print this out and it's in this number of points, I took my ruler, it's going to be 1 inch. Anybody know? No? 72. Yay, Emily. Did you look it up? And it's okay if you did. But yes, so that's just an aside. When you're typing things, and these items may not be something that you would print, but if you use anything, if you know, Microsoft Word, Excel, or Google Documents, if you make it 72 inches and you print it, that's going to be 1 inch. So that's just a frame of reference. Okay, so now we have our whiteboard included. And I already have the whiteboard, so I'm going to delete mine, but you can leave yours there because you might be wanting yours there. But as I mentioned, because I have these papers on my whiteboard already, and I can't type in them, they're just simply squares here, I'm going to have to add my text boxes to each one of these. So I'm going to draw my text box, and in the very first blue background, I'm going to say my welcome to class. And right here, if I go back to my sample, that's what I had put here, welcome to class. But I just need to make it a little bit bigger. And remember, use your sizing handles. If you want things to spread out, just keep using your sizing handles until you got it the way you want it. Also, one of the formatting tools that you'll see is the align button. You have your left alignment, your center, your right alignment. Justified is what this is called. That's going to have your left and right margins equal. But vertically too, you have alignment buttons that you can use. So go ahead and center, add bold, whatever it is, formatting that you like. Okay, so the next item here that we're going to add is probably maybe a desk. So I'm going to go to insert, image, search the web, and I'm going to type in desk. And this is something that is nice for teachers because they could put books on it. I put the globe, but there's one tip you have to realize, that when you are searching for these different components, you want the item to come on top and still be able to see through it, like see the background and the floor behind it. So some of the images that come up when you search automatically are what they call transparent. So like, for example, I see this desk, I can move it over and I can already tell from the image that it's kind of transparent. You see what I mean? It goes right over top of the floor. You can see the background behind it. It's fine. Some, however, are not transparent. So if I move this image over, that's not what I want at all. So one way to ensure that you get the transparent options in your search is simply to add the word transparent in your search. So then that's all you're going to get. So once you find a desk that you want, again, remember, either click and click insert, or you can drag, resize it, and there you go. All right, I'm going to add one more component, and then I'm going to show you how to make that component an actual link. So we're going to do the globe. So I'm going to go to insert, image, search the web. And now I want a globe. And to be sure I get what I want, I'm going to type transparent. So some are simply the globes, but if you go down, you might find some on a stand. and you can place it right on the desk. There you go. Now, one item I would like to point out, when you are adding images, if for any reason the image, like right now I'm putting it on top of the desk, but what if the desk was kind of behind the globe, but I wanted the globe to be in the front layer, so it's looking like it's on the desk. If you right click on that image, you want to go to what's called order, because order is where you would be able to manipulate that object to send it behind or to bring it in front. But that's what you'd want to do to switch things. Like, for example, if I put a rug in here right now, most likely it would go on top of the desk. Even though it's transparent, it's still, there's layering for each one of these objects. So if you right click on the object and go to order, that's where you can move things to behind or in front. So what we're going to do now is make this globe a link. Now you can do it a couple different ways. The first thing you have to do is click on it, because this is what we want to make a link. And there is a link option on the toolbar, insert link. So I could click. This is the easiest way if you know the website address already. Like if I knew I was going to borabora.com, I could simply type that in. But if you're searching for a website and you needed a different web address, didn't know what the web address was, you would want to open up your Google window, find that address, go to that page, and then copy the URL so you could paste it into here. So I know I want Bora Bora. I'm just going to www.borabora.com, and I'm going to apply. And you can see that it took. The globe will now, once it's clicked on, go here. If you want to know, did this really happen? I'm going to click on slideshow. I'm going to run my mouse over top of the globe. I'm going to click right there. Look where it takes me, Bora Bora. So in essence, it's as easy as that. You insert the object, you click on it, you come up to the toolbar and find link, and then you type in the link. Now on my page, because I live in the Union Local School District, so JETS is what the Union Local is, and this is straight from their website. This is their logo, and I thought it would be good for students to be able to click in your classroom that would take them to their school district website. So the easiest way to do that is you can go to, excuse me, you can go to the website, which I'm going to put in Union Local Schools. And right on their web page, there is the JETS logo. Did everybody see that? If you find an image on a website that you like, you can right click right on top of that image. So I'm right clicking right on the JETS, and I'm going to choose copy image. So I right click, I get copy image, and then I'm going to go back to my slideshow, and I'm going to right click and left click on paste. And I'm going to pull that logo right into my wall. Now I can click on this logo. I can go to link, and I can type in the web address. So www.ulschools.com. I can apply it, and look what happens. It assigns that. If I hit slideshow and I click right on the JETS, it takes me to their website. Okay, I'm going to show you one more option, and that was the QR code. So I want you to see a different method of transportation navigation. So I'm going to get myself a new website, and I'm going to go to Spelling City, because that is where the link is. So spellingcity.com is the name of this website. I don't know if any of you teachers have used this before, but I know my kids have had to use it with their own teachers. So it is pretty interactive and fun. But I could highlight this by right-clicking, left-click on copy. And then when I come back into my classroom, I could put the website in here. But another option, as we said with the QR code, is anywhere on the page, right click, and a pop-up menu is going to come up, and right in the middle it says create a QR code for this page. It is really as simple as that. So any of you who have wanted to use a QR code in the past and you haven't been able to, all you have to do is right click, create a QR code for the page. Here it is, right here. Now, there's probably a couple different ways that you can import this code in. I'm going to show you one way, but if you have done this before and you do it a different method, it's fine. So I'm going to click download, and it's going to move my page here. It's going to open up after I download. And again, I right click, I'm going to copy. I go into my interactive slides. I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste. So here's the code. You can resize it. It's okay if you need to make it smaller. It still works. And I can add it right to my purple background. If I want to make sure the students know this is for Spelling City, I can insert a text box right on top and type in spelling. When I do the slideshow, you see the spelling here and the QR code. Now, I would clean that up a little bit before I put this out, but for time's sake, you get the gist. So for a QR code, you simply right click on the website, download that image, and then you can copy it right in. So that is the different components and making links and QR codes in a nutshell. So I want to give you about 5 minutes or so to go ahead and add some of the components that you want. And then I'm going to ask if you would to share out. So before we do that, does anybody have questions? Okay, so Angie put in a tip that for the background image of the wall floor, instead of inserting it as an image and resizing it, you could do it as a background here, and background is right on your toolbar. So that is definitely a good tip and another method. So yes, that's absolutely great. Thank you. Okay, so I am going to continue to add components. If you want to just kind of tune me out and do your own, that's fine. If you want to ask questions in the next 5 minutes as we go through, go ahead and add them to the chat. And then we'll see what you all have designed if you're willing to share.
Excuse me, how do you want these shared to your chat box? Or you just want a link or?
Well, I could, if any of you are willing to share, I can make you a co-host just for a few minutes and you can share your screen and then we all should be able to see it.
Okay, I have one I just made, but I have another one that I made a while ago that
yeah, whatever, that's
share.
Fine.
Yeah.
Perfect. I don't have everybody's image showing at the same time. Bobby Joe, was that you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you don't mind, in about 5 minutes, we'll go to you first.
That's fine.
Okay. Thank you. I just made you a co-host. I'm going to do another inserting of an image of the flag now. So I'm going to go to insert image, search the web. And you can type in American flag. Some things that we didn't talk about is just aesthetics too. So if you have a plant or a beanbag or something that you want to add, that's fine too. The images that you can search for on the web are endless. And you can make this as creative as you need to, as far as banners and all the components that are in your classroom. Okay, about 1 more minute. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Bobby Joe, I made you a co-host. So whenever you're ready, if you want to go ahead and click on your share screen button, we should be able to see yours.
I'm going to show you two. And
Okay,
this one,
great.
This is from my OUE class. This is, I put in their Schoology account. This was from Van Cleves. And I updated it with a little broken heart there for all the people that know William Van Cleves. But I wanted them to have all the access to all of his presentations. Can you see that?
Oh, yes, I can.
And so when
That's
you click
awesome.
on that, when you click on his image, you know, it goes right to his presentation. So, yeah, I'll shut that off, but it goes right to his presentation. So
That is awesome.
it was a nice way to, I thought, you know, just to, you know, just to, you know, remember him and keep all of his things together. And then the one I made just now for you was using the things you said, but I didn't use the classroom. I used my winter theme and read aloud books because I put these kind of things in. So when you click on the book opens.
Oh, nice.
And one of the tips I would have for making these would be, I know I went fast there, hold on. One of the tips I would have is if you go to a YouTube and you want to get rid of the advertisements before, the underscore pop-up will take away all the advertisements before a video. And I just learned that a couple of years ago, and I'm like, everything, it's commercial taken out.
I know.
So, but,
and how about the commercial I got? I mean, really?
you just never know.
I
That's why you
know.
put those commercials out. Yes, that's, yeah.
Do you know how
But
many times I've clicked on that video and nothing like that came up?
yeah, they are really, the Bitmojis are really awesome. I mean, anybody else wants to show, I'll show you my website where I've put all of the Bitmojis in. It's full of Bitmojis. that
Okay,
parents
yes,
and-
please
yeah.
do. Did you say you were Bobby Joe or no? Did we lose her? I don't know, maybe we lost her. But anyway, the one final aspect that I wanted to show you is the Bitmoji. And when we went through the slide deck, I talked about adding that to the Chrome extension bar. So right here is your navigation bar where all the URLs are housed. And at the end, you can click and you can see that there's an extension here. When I click the extensions, you can see the ones that I have added. And I've actually put the Bitmoji icon right next to it. So when I click on Bitmoji, mine come up all these different environments that they put me in. But what's nice is I can search. So the template that I used for the slideshow was a winter theme. So if I type in winter, then what's going to come up is different options for me. And when you see what's at the top of the search bar, it probably looks familiar because those are the ones that I used on each one of the slides. So when you find the one that you like, and I'm going to take out winter right now and just put teacher because I think that's more appropriate for this. You can simply click and drag your Bitmoji right into your classroom. You can move it around, but you can place it right into your classroom. And you can change this as often as you want to make it look more appealing. So is there anyone else who would care to share? Aaron? Okay, did I make you a co-host? Let me check.
No, not yet.
Okay, there, you're a co-host.
All right. There's mine. Very
Aw.
simple. And then when you click on this, it takes us to our home page for that.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Very
that's very good. You're quick. I like it. I like your
Thank you.
rug.
Yeah, that's a cute one.
Anyone else care to share? Maria, thank you. Okay, I'm going to make you a co-host. Okay, you should be
Yes,
able to share.
Penny.
Okay.
Bye.
How do I share my screen?
There should be a share screen button on the Zoom toolbar, probably like right in the middle.
Okay. Can you see that?
Not yet.
Okay. Let's share. Okay.
I think it's coming. Yes,
Got
yes.
it. Okay. So
Aw.
I put my puppy on there because, you know, I like to do that.
And is it Ohio State gear?
Yes. So I did my QR code for InfoHio because my students are working on research papers right now. So that's what they've been using a lot. And then that's a link to our school for the Huskies. And then I put up the books and I linked to the Goodreads website, which is one of my favorites. So.
Aw. Very
simple,
cute.
but it's a start.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. Anyone else? Last call. Okay, well, in closing, I just want to thank you for your time today. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you had a little bit of fun too, putting together your page. I hope you use it. I really do. My email is on the first slide. So once you finish yours, I would love to see it. It just gives me ideas. I'd love to see what you've done. But moving forward, if you need our help, please reach out to us, whether it's this topic or any other topic. We're here to help you, small, big, whatever your topic is, we're here to lend a hand. So thank you all very much. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you again soon.
Thanks, Wendy.